Is it on?
Is this thing on?
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to my video blog.
Dude, it just is so good. You have to say that.
It is the best opener I've ever heard. Hello. Welcome to my video blog. Today, I would like to talk to you about parallel play. Okay. And action.
Okay, I think you have to have it lower, right?
Why?
You heard me breathing yesterday.
That's but I heard you breathing because I left and you just like let it all out. You're like what were you looking up?
Toddler craft ideas.
Oh. Why were you breathing so heavy?
I think that's just how I breathe.
So why are there balloons? People will see that there's balloons.
For Micah's birthday.
It was Micah's birthday. When?
The 10th? August 10th. His
A
first
couple
birthday.
days ago.
Yep.
Very exciting. We didn't do anything for his birthday.
We moved into our new home.
We moved into this apartment. And we have more stuff now.
Yep.
More stuff moved in.
And more balloons.
We have some balloons. But everything pretty much has a place so far.
You even brought our dogs.
We got the dogs in. So glad that everything is coming together nicely. Still trying to figure out certain things. Like, are we going to have a bookcase? And I found a really cool coffee table.
We'll
But you don't
children
wanna-
bash their
yeah.
heads on it.
I was thinking it's low enough that they could actually use it to jump off of.
You know they're gonna run full head into
It's
it.
a very thick piece of wood.
Yeah, that's not gonna go well.
Yeah. But I was thinking the thicker the better because
Doesn't move.
it would be good to jump off of. Like even I could probably jump off of
Oh
it.
my gosh.
But yes, if you fell on it, it probably would not be good. But it's really cool. It's like oddly cut.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is it local?
Japan. so anyways. Today I heard a YouTube short, I think it was, and they were talking about a term I'd never heard before called parallel play. You're acting like you don't know, even though I introed the video talking about it. So.
Oh.
And we talked about it earlier.
You did.
So,
But I thought it was parallel parenting. So.
no, parallel play.
Hmm.
Because, so here's the concept of parallel play. You have kids playing over here, and it's good for your kids to be playing with other kids.
What age group?
This is for kids 3 and under, but it's good for kids any age to play with each other. But specifically parallel play is kids 3 and under are playing with other kids, but you're not supposed to leave them alone. That you are supposed to be in parallel with them so that while they're playing, if they bump into something or they fight with another kid or something like that, they have an emotional release and they're able to go over to the parent and recenter themselves. Because without the parent there, they have a hard time adjusting and recentering. And so they instead of making them feel like they are their own security, you're still a security and
Yeah, your home base.
yeah, your home base.
Yeah.
So the question about that is, so in her context, she was talking about why daycare is not necessarily the best thing for socialization, because you can still socialize your kids while being there. And so she says it's what's most important is the presence of the parent. So the reason why this comes up in my world is because I'm now in charge of families and specifically kids within a church context and setting. And so the question, Dr. Olga, is what should we be doing in churches with our kids?
They should be in service with their families.
So how does a Sunday morning look for in an ideal church where we're thinking about something like parallel play?
Well, I think it needs to be less sitting in the pews and being preached at and more interactive. So, like, you can actually interact with your kids and let the other kids interact with each other. Because it's hard to have kids sit and listen to a sermon as well. Like, I can't imagine our 3-year-old sitting, listening to anyone that long.
Right. That's why churches kick them out.
Right.
Is because they don't sit still. So how do you do that? Like how do you change an entire structure? Because I don't know the history of this, but like how long have churches been functioning where the youngest kids get kicked out to a room so that the adults can focus? How do you change the entire structure? Because you're changing the entire structure of church.
Well, I think it starts at home. Because I don't remember when, might have been early 1900s. I remember children were kicked out of beds with their kids because of, like, in early Catholic churches, because of, well, I probably shouldn't say because the males wanted time with their wives, so they kicked out the kids out of the room at a young age, and that's why, like, bed sharing was frowned upon in the
Do you have a
Catholic
source for
Church.
this?
I read it in my bed sharing book, and I don't have my book with me because I gave it back from my midwife. Yeah, but it all started because of the Catholic Church.
Do you know the name of it?
The Catholic Church?
No. The book.
It was like bed sharing something.
Okay.
I'll have to look it up.
Because we probably should post that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Because people are going to be very skeptical of you. You're blaming kids not being in bed with their parents on the Catholic Church.
No, I'm blaming, like, it starts from a very young age of the separation between the kids and their parents. And like I believe that you should bed share, but by kicking your kids at a very young age, you're already putting like a
Right.
divide between you guys. So then it, like, goes into the church as well.
Yeah, it's like common practice everywhere, right? You're not sharing the bed at home. You're not even sharing a room at home. You're sending your kid to daycare from a very young age. Both parents are typically working this day and age, so no parent is consistently home with their kid. So you have a host of different people being home base for this kid. Yeah, so it's not foreign by the time you get to church, like, well, everywhere else we're splitting up the parent and the kid.
Right.
So, but like, so that's cool for churches then to say, hey, we're gonna be countercultural and include kids in the service. But how do you do that effectively is because that's going to be ultimately the question. If I come to an elder board meeting and I say, hey, I really feel like psychology tells us that kids should be within eyesight of their parents, be able to find their parents. How do you conduct a service where kids can be playful and distracting while also getting an effective message across?
Well, that's a good question. Oy. I don't know, because I just think so many people our age are just so, like, our age, even up to the elderly, like, they just have this so.
I feel like people would try it, though. I feel like people would try it if you gave them, like, a clear outcome. Like, this is the expected outcome. Even if we don't achieve it, this is what we're hoping for. This is what we're expecting. But like, yeah. So we're gonna have to dream up like an outcome for it. Like, what if you just walked into a service in which kids don't leave? Do you have like a play area in the back that kids can play in, and then you're having a conversation with the parents while the kids are playing in the back? So you're not necessarily, the parents aren't necessarily having to interact with the kids. The kids can interact with kids, but the parents are still in a service of some type.
I still think like Josiah and Micah, I just don't know if they would like even like they want to see me at all times. So like if I'm up and they're in the back and I'm facing forward, will they be willing to come to me when they're
They were in Urbana.
they weren't
like
here?
well, they haven't
Yeah.
really had an opportunity to do that here.
Yeah.
But like, I think in Urbana, like they walked up front all the time.
Yeah.
But we also weren't doing this where kids were in the service the whole time. So, like, this is definitely a different kind of model of than what we were trying to do. I'm just wondering if we could have tried it, because at this church it'd be too big, right? There's too many people to go into like a fellowship hall type situation.
Right.
But I wonder if like a smaller church, if you have a fellowship hall type situation, and you just kind of have like at Urbana, you had the box room, but then you had this other room that's visible. You can still see everything. The kid's not very far away, and it could be like a little playroom. I mean, it could get pretty loud. Like the kids could get pretty loud, but I just wonder. What do you as a mom, what do you as a mom want out of a church service?
I just like when I go to church, I'm very concerned for my kids. So like for me it's hard to sit and be preached at when I know my kids may need me, or so like I want to be involved with them heavily. But I don't know if that's like the average mom. Or if I'm just maybe overbearing.
So that doesn't answer my question. So what would be an ideal service then? Like,
Very good question. I don't know. I don't think I think less formal, where it's like because the way I see it is when a kid comes in, or like in Urbana, when Josiah and Mike would run in, I'd be super stressed out because I'm like they're distracting everything. So how could we make it a service where a distraction isn't that big of a deal, or the noise isn't that big of a deal? Like make it maybe more discussion based, or like
right.
group.
It'd be more like a group Bible study.
Right.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, it'd be a small church group
Right.
Bible study feel to it,
Right.
where you have more like a living room feel, where you would have somebody singing a cappella or playing guitar. It's very comfortable, but the kids are kind of able to run in and out while adults have a deeper conversation or something like that. So, yeah. All right. Very good. That's a wrap.
That's all right.
Thanks for joining us on the Daily OJ. See you tomorrow.
Let me find the source. I should not have brought that up. I was like, oh, I know this.
Turn the mic off.
Oh, I was like, I know this. I just read this. And then I was like, I don't want to say this on camera.